So let's just cap off or round off problem 2-3 by doing a short evaluation of this exercise. What did we notice during this exercise? Well, one thing is we didn't actually use the hint with the geometric series thing. And here it's a case of LaTeX error, I'm guessing, because this hint is very useful for problem 2-2, but we don't need it for problem 2-3, as far as I'm concerned. So write this down in your formula collection, but just notice that we actually use it for 2-2 and not for 2-3. Another thing that was very useful that we used during this exercise was how to interchange summations and how the indices change accordingly. So the two ways we could do that was either by moving all of the bounds into indicator functions, or we can write up some kind of, we can draw some kind of coordinate system and try to figure out like how do we catch all of the different terms if we were to change the summation order. So what happens with these double summations is in one case we say fix n first and then let m range between values lying in an interval that might be dependent on n. Now, how can we write a corresponding version where we fix m first instead and let n range in an interval with values where this interval depends on m instead? And that might require a little bit of drawing sometimes, but it's good brain gymnastics. Another thing that we used quite a lot was summation gymnastics. And what do I mean by that? Well, first of all is the fact that we can take bounds in the sum index and in the sum and move them into the terms inside the sum using indicator functions, right? Another thing that we may notice is the fact that we can change the bounds in a sum by changing the contents of that sum. And these are both two really great tricks that you can use in the future, but they kind of require practice. Also stuff like, well, this term just evaluates to 0, so I can just remove this term from my sum. Or stuff like, the trick we did with n being equal to the sum of 1, just n times, is also good to remember. So just take a look at this exercise and write down all of the results and tricks from this exercise in your notes. One last thing is also it's a really good idea to just recall what it was we were actually looking for in the first place. So what we have found in this exercise is the mean of excess lifetime over HD given that an individual has survived until at least HD.